Hello, America. How y'all doing today? This is Jonathan Bodine. I have a little story that I wanted to tell. If you like stories, this is a story that could happen to anyone at any time, and it's a true story, or based on a true story. I'm not gonna say it's 100% factual, but it is based on a true story about someone that I went to school with and have been friends with. And these types of things happen to a lot of people. But this kind of thing, you would think, man, this person, it should have never happened to, but it does. It happens to the best of us. Anything like this could happen to anybody. And what I'm talking about is there's a girl that I knew, and she had a good personality. She had a great personality, as a matter of fact. And not only that, but she was pretty. She was very pretty, a very pretty girl. And and she had she was just all around. She didn't look down on anybody. She didn't try to make anybody feel bad about themselves. Matter of fact, she was the kind of person that tried to lift people up. It didn't matter where you were from, who you are, how much money you had, none of these things. She was just a good person. She was all around. She was just had really good morals, and she was raised well, and she was taught to be nice to everybody. Even the weird the weird kids in school. And this is a girl. She was, in high school, and she was in the band, and she was looking for, she was looking at having scholarships. She had scholarships to the University of Alabama, and multiple other schools, around the state, Jacksonville State University, Troy University, maybe Auburn, and whatever, just a bunch of schools, because she had, not only did she have academics, she played band, and she just had all these, she was just smart, bright, beautiful, charismatic. I mean, just a good all-around person, and she was going into her senior year. She already had all these things going for her. All these things going for her. I mean, she had it made. She had really good friends. At the time, or what she thought was good friends. And let me tell you something. Friends will turn on you really quick. Friends come and go. Blood. They can turn on you too, but. It's hard to find a real true friend, and if you do find a real true friend, you stick with them. But I don't want to get off topic. But they're going into their senior year, and it was their first week into school, and one of the guys at the school, one of the football players. He was like, I'm gonna have a party at my house, first week of our senior year, all the seniors, a few juniors, I'm sure, showed up to the party, and so first week, she's like, yeah, everybody's like, come to the party, she usually goes to the party, but she wasn't the one type to drink or do drugs, especially. From time to time, we all as kids, we drink a little bit when we go to a party. Everybody knows that, but she was one to just, she might have a beer or two, something like that, at most, and that's at most, maybe a little, wine cooler, or something, she was that kind of, that type of person. But, so she goes to the party, her and her friends, and she drinks a few drinks, and then, there's a couple of jocks. I've been keeping an eye on her all night, and they're thinking, man, if we could get her, if we can get her drunk enough or messed up enough, man, maybe we could get with her, you know. I mean, we're talking about this girl. She was a virgin, you know. She wasn't about that, you know. She wanted to stay. She was one of those types of girls who wanted to stay a virgin till she was married. I mean, you know, she had good moral values. You know, she came from a good moral home with good parents who taught her, that marriage, you know, you want to keep yourself, you know, clean and pure until marriage. And she was devout to this, you know. She was going to do this. So, and everybody, you know, all these guys knew it. And they thought, man, if we could get, you know, her, you know, that would be like, you know, we're the winner, you know, we're awesome. And so, you know, they get to talking to her, they're hanging out, you know, and they're like, you know, so they're all hanging out, they're having a good time, they're all having a good time, and one of the guys is like, hey man, I know where we can get some roofies. And so what they do is, you know, she'd already done it, she was done with drinking. She was done drinking for the night, she wasn't going to drink no more, but these two guys, they made her up this drink. It was, you know, a mixed drink, you know, and she trusted these guys. These guys were supposed to be her friend, you know. And so they drug her drink. They put this roofies, whatever it is, in her drink. And it didn't take long, and she was just, you know, hammered. But everybody's partying, everybody's having a good time. By this time, everybody's drunk, you know. And but these two guys, they had their plan. They had their eyes set. So of course, when they seen her start getting, you know, to that point, they take her back to the bedroom, and they take her clothes off, and they have their way, and they're having their way with her. And they just do it, you know. They're taking pictures, and they're calling for the buddies to come in, and they you know, and it looks like she's wanting it, you know. They make it look like, you know, she's messed up. She's like, you know, she's had of it, you know, and they, you know, they're, you know, kissing on her and stuff and making it look like she's wanted, you know. They have their way with her. You got to be careful with these things, man, you know, because just like that, the night's in, you know, the night's over. Somebody carries her home. One of the boys takes her home and carries her in, sneaks her into her bedroom, and leaves out. Nothing else is said. Next day she wakes up and she's like, oh my God, you know, she's hungover, she's hurting, you know. And she don't really remember what's going on at first, but she starts looking at her phone. She's got text messages, and someone's like, got messed up last night, didn't you? Partied down, didn't you? How was it? And she's like, how was what? What are we talking about? So she texts one of her friends, what happened, you know? And she's like, girl, you got it. You lost your virginity finally, you know. They thought, you know, she done all this and that. And they're like, you went a little too far with it though, didn't you? Letting them run a train on you like that. It wasn't long after that she started getting pictures sent to her phone, and she starts remembering. Then she starts all these. It was like a dream to her, you know. These memories start coming back like it was a dream, like it was a nightmare. They had raped her, but they made it look like she just went all out. She wanted it. She wanted these two guys to do all this to her. So then, you know, all these pictures start going around the school. People start talking about it. You know, little snickers here, little snickers there. People laughing at her behind her back. People start calling her whore. Of course, one of the guys that slept with her was one of her good friends, boyfriends. So she starts talking about calling her a whore, and then she turns on her and gets all her friends to turn on her because she cheated on, or she took one of her girlfriend's boyfriends and had sex with him, and she's like, there's nothing she can do at this point. You know, she's scared, she's hurt. You know, she don't know what to do. You know, And it gets so bad, she just kind of she goes into herself, you know. She just gets so depressed, and you know, and she's never been through anything like this, you know. She's used to everybody being so nice to her and her being nice to everybody, and all those people that she was always so nice to was making fun of her and laughing at her and calling her a whore and a slut and all these things, and she drops out of band because all of her friends were in band. So when she drops out of band, guess what? She lost that scholarship. She had a scholarship to go play for the $1 Million Band for Alabama, the Crimson Tide. But she drops out of band in her senior year and she loses that scholarship. Her grades start failing because she stops coming to school because she's too embarrassed to come to school. So then her grades start dropping, slipping. She starts making F's. And her grade point average goes from a 4.0 to oblivious, pretty much. So of course then she loses her academic scholarships. All that's gone. Loses all her friends. So she just drops out of school completely. She said, what's the point? So she drops out of school completely. Depression, it'll get you. It was one little mistake that she made, and it changed her whole life. And that's what I want to talk about. It could happen to anybody at any time. You always got to be watching your back. Because you could be the best person in the world and make one mistake and it all come crashing down. It all came crashing down on her. She didn't commit suicide, but a lot of people do. But that showed how strong of a character this girl was. She didn't commit suicide. She did move on. She had to move to another city. She got her GED. She got a job, you know, just working, you know, at a bank or whatever, something like that. I don't know. But just some average job, but she wanted to be a doctor. She wanted to be a doctor. And she was on her track to be a doctor. And you know, these two guys that did this to her, and all these people that made fun of her, they just kept on with their lives, and all their lives continued on the way that it was supposed to. Those two guys that drugged her, they went on, they had football scholarships, and they made it. They went to school, they went to college. They never did lose a thing. They didn't lose anything. Because she never told, because she was too embarrassed, too afraid. And there's so many girls out here, so many people. It can happen to a guy, it can happen to a man too. Same thing can happen to a man. A man can be raped just the same as a girl can be raped. Or a boy, or whatever, can be raped just the same as a girl can be raped. And it can steer their whole life in a whole different direction. And the life that they would have had as a doctor, lawyer, or whatever, instead they become a waitress or a construction worker or whatever. Not that there's anything wrong with those professions, but when you go from having a 4.0 average to just 2.0 or whatever, you drop out of school, you don't have nothing, and you have to just do what you have to do to make it in life instead of doing what you wanted to do, what you wanted to be. You know, and these things happen. These things happen every day. So what I want to say is, people, watch out. Watch your back. And look, friends, watch out for your friends. Because, you know, you always want to stick by your friends. And never, boys and girls, I know young people are a lot worse about this. If she would have had a good enough friend that would have stood by her side and said, look, I know you. All these other people, they should have known. They should have said, you know what, she's not like that. That's not something that she would have done. She had to have been drugged. She had to have been. and she'd have had somebody to stand up for her and say, look, come on, come with me, and let's get this figured out. Be a good friend. If you see a friend suffering from depression or something, some good chance there's something that's happened. If you know somebody that something like that's happened to, give them the benefit of the doubt. Look at their history. But it can happen to anybody at any time. And all those people that she was good to, they should have looked and said, hey, come. I know everybody makes mistakes. And you made a mistake. It's okay to make a mistake. And she could have said, well, I was raped, though. They raped me. And just having somebody on your side to give you that boost, that confidence, to go and tell on those guys. Those guys should have paid the penalty for what they did. And instead of them paying the penalty for what they did, they went on with their scholarships, got everything that they wanted, played football in college, and then they went on to become whatever they wanted to be. And she turned out to be a waitress or a teller or whatever, where she wanted to be a doctor. So, you can turn your life around. Absolutely. You can turn your life around if you make a mistake like this. But that was her senior year. She missed prom. She missed out for all those scholarships and going to college and having all that. And instead she had to just settle for the GED and just, and just being, average when she was better than average. She was better than average. This girl was, like I said, had a great personality. She was beautiful, smart, she had it all. She could have been something great. Be a friend. Stick by your friends if they make a mistake. Don't turn on somebody just because they made a mistake. And people, be very, very careful. Be very careful. When you go to a party or something, kids, go to a party, make sure you get your own drink. Don't ever take a drink from somebody. You get your drink yourself. Better yet, if you're not old enough to drink, don't do it. Because alcohol always leads to something bad when you're young. Alcohol always leads to bad things. Alcohol's a bad drug. It is. Just because it's legal doesn't make it any better than the rest of them. And don't do drugs. Drugs, they distort your thought process and you do bad things. But I just want everybody to know that, you got to be careful in this world because one little thing can steer you off in a very bad direction. And it can happen at any time of your life. So don't feel like you're invincible. Don't feel like you're invincible. Always keep focus on what you want to do and never lose focus and don't do anything stupid. Always keep your head on straight. Because like I said, one little thing. This girl was supposed to be a doctor. This girl was supposed to go to college, supposed to be great. And instead, she ended up in another town with no friends that she knew, becoming a waitress or a teller, Hopefully, she'll find a good church to go into, lift her up, find a great husband. I don't know if that's what's happened or not, but that's just the last I've heard is, she moved off, got her GED, and was living a basic life. But pray for everybody. Pray for your friends, help everybody that you can. Always be looking out for your friends. And look out for each other. Be there for one another. But this is Jonathan Bodine. This is just a story, just one story. It's sad. It's a sad thing, but it happens. Parents, watch for your children. Teach your children about these things. Friends, look out for each other. Once again, I'm Jonathan Bodine. This is Hello America. Subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button. I'm out.